A high country hunting expedition follows the trail of Idaho's mighty bull elk. In the remote Frank Church wilderness, elk can be spotted in great numbers.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
The hard part is getting to them.
All right, ready for a long day.
With no vehicles and no machinery, these hunters will track them down the old-fashioned way.
Old Josh Taylor's word was we circumvallated them.
This time on Exploring Idaho, ride the long and difficult trail on the tracks of Idaho's mighty bull elk.
Hello and welcome to Exploring Idaho. I'm Dee Sarton. Traditionally, hunting big game was much more than a sport. It was a necessity. And when the first white settlers stalked Idaho's elk, it was a whole different game. There were no chainsaws to clear trails, no off-road vehicles to drive or generators to heat plush campers. No, it was cold, dirty, difficult work. And now we know it's still a tough job today, but imagine hunting the old-fashioned way, absolutely stripped of modern conveniences and deep inside Idaho's remote wilderness. Well, Exploring Idaho's Jennifer Eisenhart can do a lot more than imagine. She's experienced such a trip, and she's here now to tell us all about it. Jen?
Well, Dee, it was very difficult, I'll tell you that first.
I believe it.
But it was also spectacular. We joined a group of doctors who 1 week out of every year put down their medical instruments and take up rifles. They go into Idaho's high country in search of elk. We were led by one of Idaho's most experienced guides deep into the Frank Church River of No Return wilderness. Our mission? To track them down the old-fashioned way. The Frank Church River of No Return wilderness, a large piece of mountain paradise located right in the middle of Idaho. It's known as the River of No Return wilderness because early supply boats could run down its rivers, but the powerful waters erased any thoughts of an upstream return. It was also named for Senator Frank Church, who helped designate more than 2 million acres as wild country, never to be spoiled by the machines of man. Large herds of elk, 20 and 30 strong, are a regular sight here. They roam through miles of high country and thrive on tall, plentiful grasses, the herds protected by big, powerful bulls. It's these bulls, 5 points, 6 points, even 7 points, that lure hunters from across the country into an unforgiving wilderness of rugged terrain.
All right, we're ready to go. Ready for a long day.
Our group includes 3 hunters from Florida and Indiana, 2 local guides, 2 cooks, and our camera crew. We'll ride in a pack string of 25 horses and mules. And here's where we're headed, straight up. Altogether, it's an 18-mile ride to our base camp. That's about 8 hours by horse. We learn right away the riding is not easy.
Well, it's a tough ride, but you know, the whole reason we do this is we want to get away from people. And in the 8 years I've been here, I've never seen another human being once I've gotten back here. The riding's tough, but if it wasn't tough, then other people would be around.
The ride in is a lot of riding, a lot of walking. You ride uphill, walk downhill.
The country is unique. It's difficult to get to. You need to ride horses and walk a great deal, and I think just the walk-in prepares you for the environment and what you will see. But it's not a trip for somebody who is used to city life and nothing else.
On top, we can see for miles. These are the Salmon River Mountains. Their snow-capped peaks reach heights above 8,000 feet. The rise in altitude brings with it a chilling change in the weather.
Well, it snows every year out here. It seems like we get snow about every day.
As we push on through the whiteness, our string takes on the look of a history book scene. The horses, the scenery, and the silently falling snow combine to transport us backwards in time.
You have a realization of what pioneers and people who settled the West had to go through just by looking at the country and riding horses, not having any motorized conveniences.
The fact that it's a wilderness area actually adds a lot to the feeling. Since there's no motorized vehicles, you can't mountain bike in here, and you can't even use chainsaws to cut wood. It takes you back in time to the 1800s, 1900s. It's just beautiful.
The snow finally lets up when we get within sight of our base camp. The Cradle Creek Camp is just below the saddle on the other side of that ridge. There, canvas wall tents with wood stoves and comfortable cots wait to soothe our tired bodies.
You're kind of tired by the time you get here. You know, about the only thing you can do is have dinner and be ready to go the next morning.
So we call it a night and dream dreams of big bull elk well within sight.
We got a whole mountainside covered with elk, and at least 6 bulls, one of which is a giant bull. The biggest one I've ever seen out here in 8 years. But I don't know if we can get to him without spooking him.
The ridge above base camp offers an unobstructed view across the valley at a winter feeding grounds for elk.
How many do you count over there?
In that left-hand canyon, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
To the untrained eye, this looks like a barren mountainside with only a few black specks against the white snow. But these trained hunters see a spectacular sight.
See, you look right in that clearing, there's a whole bunch of elk.
A herd of 30 to 40 elk milling around the mountainside.
And almost everywhere you look in this whole mountainside is elk. And that's the problem. See, the ones you're looking at now are 5 bulls. But in order to get to them, we've got to be able to sneak up on them.
Gosh, how can you tell they're bulls from this far away?
Because they're yellow. They're more yellow than the others. And then you look in the spotting scope. That's the only way to tell, really.
A high-powered telescope helps the outfitters zero in on the ant-sized black dots. They discover a handful of 5-point bulls and one king-size 6-point.
I see pretty good length on at times, but he's behind so many trees that I couldn't get a read on him yet. I think he's bigger than any of them others for sure.
It's got to be wider than this.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We've killed 5 or 6 of those in my lifetime, but boy, they're hard to come by.
While the hunters discuss their prospects, a change quietly takes place. A thick layer of fog drifts in and settles over the valley.
Now it's a waiting game.
Yeah, we're going to have
with
to
the
wait until the
fog.
fog lifts. Nothing you can do before that.
Geez, it'd be lousy to work that hard to get up there and then be sitting there in the fog all day and have to waste it, you know. Maybe spook them, not even know you did it because you can't see where they are. You know, you have to be able to look down and look someplace, see where they are, keep track of them, keep trees in front of you, you know, or rocks or terrain bends in order to get down in shooting range.
So with the valley all socked in, the hunt will have to wait.
And I was so looking forward to climbing that mountain.
oh, Michael, I just don't know how you can deny yourself that.
We looked around, we didn't see him.
At dinner, the hunters relax and lay plans for tomorrow.
Tomorrow, we're going to go back up to the top of the hill. If it's halfway decent weather and we can get any kind of a look at them, then we'll decide what we'll try to do to make a hunt on them and get the guys up there where they can maybe get a shot.
And tomorrow's another day.
Tomorrow's another day, and sometimes we win and sometimes we lose, and these guys have been in on both.
I saw the bull that I want to put on my rack, on my wall this morning. And the question is can I get him? We got to go to where the elk are. We can't call them to us.
Now they know where it is, but will the hunters find the king-size bull elk? Find out when Exploring Idaho returns. They've spotted a king-size 6-point. Now a veteran outfitter in Idaho's wilderness leads a group of East Coast hunters on a chase they'll never forget.
Okay, we're ready to go. It'll be a long day. We're ready.
Tie these on, Pat. I'll get the rifle, and I'm ready.
Come on, Pete. Let's go up the hill. Elk hunting here is very difficult, and the reason we come here is because it's difficult.
Early morning on the third day, the hunters depart for what will become the longest day of this trip. The destination is far on the other side of the valley. The goal is to sneak up the backside of the draw where the elk have returned to feed.
Theoretically, the wind's going to be easing up the hill. We'll have the wind right while we're doing that.
To better surround the elk, Stan splits the hunters into two groups. Ted and outfitter Pat Hendren will skirt the south side. The rest of us will wind our way around the long and difficult trail up the north side.
Some of the trails that we get those horses on are unbelievable. That's almost not a trail. It really is almost not a trail.
I'll tell you, it can't compare to what we do 51 weeks of the year, but I mean, it's totally different. Physically, it's very tough. It's rough country, but we sure enjoy it.
It has been a rough road getting to where we are right now. We started about 4 hours ago on the other side of this valley. Since then, we've traveled up steep terrain, over fallen logs, about 8 or 9 miles to the point where we are now. Now, the terrain was so difficult that in many cases we couldn't even take out our camera to show you pictures. The horses are now going back where we just came from, and we are going to continue on foot.
They're over there, and we were way over there a long time ago.
You have to be as absolutely quiet as you can because they can hear any noise that you might make. So you've got to keep your eyes on them and know where they are at all times.
Yesterday, the elk come over right through these green trees on the top of that hill, and we're hoping that they'll do the same thing again. So we'll go around this trail, working our way that way, hoping, that we get to look at them.
Already the hunters are tired and the elk are elusive. The entire draw appears empty, but then Stan spots a big bull, maybe the 6-point, just as it ducks behind a large rock.
You know the elk is there, and you're really excited, and the adrenaline's pumping, and you're really all pumped up, and you're trying to find it, and you're trying to figure out where they're going to go. And that's what Stan Potts does better than anybody. He knows elk better than anybody I've ever seen, and he can figure out where they're going to go.
All kind of elk beds right in front of us.
All the signs are here, so Mike and Stan head down the draw.
Him and I'll keep working down these black trees toward where the bull is.
While the rest of us watch and wait.
Right there is where he came down. Right there. Yeah. Should have come right out here. Didn't. And didn't come up either, so he must be down.
We finally get down to the place on the ridge that we think it would have come across if it was going to come across the ridge. And of course, we're there and we still can't see it. And we can't figure out what happened to it. And so we sneak down a little bit further. And then all of a sudden, we look up and down the ridge, the elk is. It's like 200-300 yards down from where we thought it was going to be. And that's when we snuck up and snuck around and found a tree to where we could watch it from.
You think I can get through that opening? No, right there I can't. I can't get quiet. I can't see him now.
The elk disappears in a stand of dead trees, but just when they thought they've lost it for good, the elk makes one last appearance.
We had a great shot, and Stanley does a great job. It's been a long time getting here. It's real tiring. But you know what? I'm not tired anymore. It's great. It's really an amazing feeling. You go out, you do it, and it makes it all worthwhile.
Mike is the only successful hunter today. But the thrill of the chase in this rough and rugged wilderness is what all the hunters see as the ultimate reward.
During the year, I frequently think about how nice it is over here, how nice it is in the wilderness, and how nice it would be to come back.
It's too much fun out here and too many incredible views, and it's something we'll come back and do year after year.
It's a wonderful escape. It's a wonderful escape from everything I do every day.
Oh, that is just such incredible country. Beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
Now I'm curious, did they get the big 6-point elk they were after?
They did not. The big 6-point eluded them, but Mike did get a 5-point, so that 6-pointer is still out there.
Another story for another year.
Yep.
All right, Jen, thank you so much. And Exploring Idaho will be right back.
Okay, and all we're going to do is pour it right on the top of the venison. We're just going to drizzle right on top of the venison. And voila! Elk steaks peppercorn style with vegetable ragu.
Some people stay away from eating elk because they say it tastes too gamey, but you know, when it's prepared properly, elk tastes wonderful. Gourmet chef Lou Aaron prepares a special recipe for us today, elk pepper steaks with vegetable ragu.
Okay, today we're going to be cooking elk pepper steak, and I've got some nice elk fillets here. And if you'll notice, there's no fat on them, and I've removed all the stringy sinew. The thing you got to realize about elk, it's very mild. There is absolutely no game flavor. It'll melt in your mouth if you prepare it right. You've got to make sure to get it skinned right away. You've got to make sure that you get the fat off of it, because fat is what gives it that real strong gamey flavor that most people don't like. So that's what we've done here. We have a properly prepared elk fillet right here. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to embed some green peppercorns. Now you could use some cracked pepper or just straight black peppercorns if you wanted. Green peppercorns are soaked in a brine, so they're really nice and mellow, and they don't totally gasp you in the throat when you eat them. They just add a real nice peppery flavor to whatever you're using them on. So we're just going to embed a couple fillets with the peppercorns, and then we're going to use our meat tenderizer and pound them in. And they will stay there, believe it or not. And if you like a real spicy one, you can do the other side, and I'll go ahead and do the other side. And what we're going to do then is we're going to sear the steaks. Venison is best prepared when it's medium rare to medium. You don't want to overcook venison. We're going to put a little bit of oil on the pan, and we're going to sear it. And what I'm going to do here is on the fillet, I'm going to season it just with a little bit of salt, just add a little bit more flavor, and then we're going to sear it. This really cooks very quickly, so you just want to watch it. You don't want to leave it. We'll just sear both sides real quickly until it's about rare, because what will happen is it'll keep on cooking after you pull it off, and that's what you want to achieve, because we'll be making a vegetable ragu after this for underneath. We got a nice searing effect on one side, and see the peppercorn stayed in there real nice. It's going to be a real nice complement to the elk. And after we seared both sides, we will take it off and set it aside while we make our ragu. And a lot of you, when you hear ragu, you think of tomato sauce or spaghetti sauce, but ragu actually means stew. It's a nice cooked down vegetable stew. And I've just got some nice vegetables out of my garden, and I've also stolen some from a local wild mushroom farm. These are just chanterelle mushrooms, I'm sorry. And we've got red bell peppers, yellow bell peppers, got some fresh jicama, and I got some zucchini, yellow squash. We're gonna cook this up. What I've got is 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and we've got a hot pan, and we're gonna just add a little bit of garlic, which is about 2 teaspoons, and we're gonna cook our garlic, roast our garlic. It's gonna add some nice flavor to the well-roundness of the vegetables. Okay, we're roasting our garlic. It'll go real quick if you got a hot pan. We're just gonna throw all our vegetables in there, all at once. And what's going to happen, this is like a stew, so you want to cook these down a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to add a little bit of chopped parsley to it. And we're going to cook this for about 5 minutes. Then we're going to add, these are just canned diced tomatoes and juice. These are just stewed tomatoes. We're going to add that to it. What I've done here is the bones from the venison, I've made a stock out of them. And I've roasted the bones off with some vegetables, and I've added some water, and I've cooked them for about 6 hours. And this is the juice that I've had that's left from it. So I'm going to add that to add the flavor. Now what we'll do So let that cook down. Okay, we've let our ragu cook down for about 15 minutes, and see what happens is everything looks real nice and stewy. And that's exactly what we want. Now I'm going to add 2 more things to this. I've got some, it's going to add a nice punch to it. It's balsamic vinegar. And it's going to add a nice woodsy flavor because balsamic vinegar is soaked in oak barrels and it's really good. So I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. Now the reason I didn't add that at the beginning is because it would have cooked out. And I added it at the end because the flavor will be sticking in real good there. And I'm also going to add just a little bit of the peppercorn juice from the peppercorns to add a nice punch to it. And then we'll take it off the heat. Now what I'm doing over here is I've got some heavy cream that I'm reducing down. And this is just mainly to tie everything together. And this is about 1/2 cup more of that venison stock that I've added. And we're going to let that reduce down. And we'll just season it with a little bit of salt. And same with our ragu. Salt to taste. Now for presentation purposes, I've got some fresh sage. This adds some nice aroma as you get in and start eating your dish. And we're going to let that reduce down. And we'll just spoon our ragu on the plate. It's really, it smells wonderful. You just put it right on the plate. There we go. And then we've got our reserved venison, elk, that we put on the plate. It's cooked medium rare. It's a nice sauce now, nice creamy sauce. Okay, and all we're going to do is pour it right on the top of the venison. We're just going to drizzle it right on top of the venison. Okay, and it just melds everything together real nice. Okay, and we'll just finish it off with some chopped parsley. And voila! Elk steaks peppercorn style with vegetable ragu. Remember, elk, you can use a lot of the same recipes you can for steak for elk, and it's very mild and flavorful, so just keep it simple and you'll come out just fine.
If you'd like a copy of Chef Lou's recipe for elk pepper steak with vegetable ragu, send a self-addressed stamped envelope to Chef Lou Aaron, 1929 West State Street, Boise, Idaho, 83702. Exploring Idaho will be right back. If you would like more information on outfitted elk hunts in Idaho, call the number on your screen for a copy of the Exploring Idaho Field Notes. Be sure to ask for show number 141. Thanks for watching this edition of Exploring Idaho. We'll see you again next time.